amazing what a difference the deletion of a few words makes. Jeffrey, Henderson, all of you, emergency!
Well, what's wrong?
Wilson's gone into land.
Well, that's a suicide. He'll never last more than 15 minutes under that cloud.
And you expect us to believe this?
No, I don't, so I've recorded his message on tape.
B7 to MR4. Urgent message. Battery's nearly dead. Losing height. We'll have to land on Venus. This will be my last message. Over and out.
We must find him.
Well, then we'll have to land too.
But no one can survive down there.
After coming all this way to rescue him, we've got to risk it.
But what about fuel?
We've got enough to make a landing and get back into orbit.
Yes, but our landing on Earth, we'll need the fuel for that. If we ever get there.
Look, in 3 weeks from now, a Russian rocket will be orbiting this planet. It'll have fuel supplies for us as well as oxygen. Now, first of all, Mary, we need to know something more about this cloud.
That's not all. Do you realize you're going to have to land this on a surface no one's ever seen?
Yes, Mary, I do realize that, but let's just start with the cloud, shall we? Now, we need to know its density, what it's made of, and what's our likely rate of burnout.
Well, then short is spectrum analysis.
Can I help?
Yes, come on.
Now, let's try to pinpoint exactly where Wilson's rocket landed. Right. Now, we know our own orbital speed. What was the exact time Wilson's message came through?
Here you are. Here's his relative position to Earth when he dropped out of orbit.
Jeff, you better keep calling Wilson on the radio, just in case he can still hear us. Tell him if he makes a successful landing, not to leave the rocket, we'll find him. Oh, Brown, just in case there's an eccentricity in our orbit, can you start making an astral fix?
I'd already started one before you came up.
It's funny, Brown, but things always seem to work out the way you want.
Now let's try the other grading.
It's horrid to think of that pilot all alone down there.
SI equals N delta R over E. Got that?
Yes?
5890 times 8 times 3.4 over 0.005. Now, what does that come to?
Gosh, I have no idea.
Well, let's try and work it out.
Oh, you make anything of that cloud yet, Mary?
Yes, and I'm not so sure it's carbon dioxide. I'm beginning to think it's carbon suboxide. That's a compound of dioxide and monoxide, and it's formed when the two gases come under intense bombardment from radiation.
Oh, yes, of course, from the sun. Well, then surely that means the cloud must extend right down to the surface. It'll be like looking for Wilson in a thick yellow fog.
Well, not necessarily. Carbon suboxide boils at very little above freezing point of water, about 7 degrees centigrade.
What do you mean? The cloud might be hanging suspended with something healthier underneath?
Well, it's possible. I found traces of water vapor. Particles of water might help to support the carbon cloud.
Or like an umbrella being held up by the atmosphere underneath it.
That's it.
Well, if there's water, there might be oxygen.
Well, it's only a theory. I've got to check it with a computer. Margaret, would you feed these figures in?
Oh, good. I like working with the computer.
Well, Mary, let's hope that theory's right. If there is oxygen below that cloud, then it's just possible there's enough for a man to breathe, at least on the surface of the land.
It's possible, but who said there was any land?
Well, there must be land somewhere.
Why? The surface might be entirely covered by water or swamp. Or since Venus is probably still highly volcanic, there might be nothing down there but molten lava.
Yeah, well, let's just look on the bright side, shall we?
Andromeda opposed to Centaurus cluster.
8 degrees.
Orion at 5.4.
Spot on.
Good. Oh, Henderson, this is the point we want. 15 degrees off a line drawn through the axis of Venus.
Yeah, so allowing for deceleration before entering the cloud, we should land just about there.
Oh, here are the computer results, Professor Meadows.
Well, that settles it. It is carbon suboxide.
Right, then I think it's time we went into land. All right, Jeff, get on the radar.
Well, shouldn't I photograph the surface as we go in?
Yeah, that's a good idea. All right, stand by, everybody, and good luck.
Altitude 130 miles, falling rate 16.
External temperature shooting up.
You've got to reduce friction. This stuff's denser than it looks. Changing angle of inclination 3 degrees. Allow for that, Brown.
Falling rate 15, 14, altitude 120, 118.
Can you see any sign of a break in that cloud yet?
No, it's getting thicker.
Well, we're above the level of the ionosphere on Earth. It's gonna break soon.
There's something on the radar. Look right ahead.
Oh, you're right. It's tremendous. 15, 100. 58, 59.
Whatever it is, it's dead in line with us.
It could be a mountain range, but that would make it about 3 times as high as Everest.
Well, at least it would mean there is land.
Whatever it is, we've got to miss it.
I'm deflecting the angle again, Jeff. Right? How does that look?
Better, we're going to clear it.
All right. Can you see anything yet, Brown?
The cloud's thinning out. Yes, yes. We're through it at last. I can't make anything out yet. There's a great, wide, flat, expansive landscape, like a desert. No, no, no. There's something growing there.
Well, let me look. Looks like a kind of swamp. No, that vegetation's moving, floating.
Altitude 20 miles, 18, 16,
I can see the edge of the swamp.
Good. I'm still decelerating.
12, 11, 10,
We've
9,
cleared it.
8.
We're coming down in a forest.
We can't land in a forest. We'll smash the rocket up.
Oh, we can't stop now. All right, get down on your takeoff couches. Make it snappy.
4 miles from surface and slowing up.
Right. Stand by for landing impact. And it's going to be rough.
From now on, I'm recording everything I do on this tape. If it's ever found, it could be useful to the next guy who comes this way. Time, 3:30 Earth time. Position, the orbit of Venus. Date? Oh, who cares? Hey. I've just seen on my radar the British rocket drop out of orbit and apparently land on Venus. I don't know why they've done this, since I haven't been able to make radio contact with them. Oxygen's almost finished. Not enough power left to transmit radio. One more orbit, and I guess that's it. I wonder what's happening to the British rocket.
Not bad. Almost vertical. Everybody all right down here?
Well done, Henderson. Well done.
Well, thanks. But after your first planet, it's not so difficult. Well, we seem to have landed in the middle of a primeval forest.
Oh, honey, green stuff. And do you think I'll be able to eat it, Professor Meadows?
Well, for all we know, it might eat him.
Come on, Jeff, let's get our helmets on.
I hope no one will object if I'm the first of this group to set foot on Venus.
Well, scientifically, I'd object very strongly. We need to analyze the atmosphere first.
Well, what better analysis can you make than with a pair of human lungs?
Oh, Brown, you're not going out there without a helmet. I mean, just because green things grow here doesn't mean to say we can breathe the air.
Well, I'm willing to risk it. And I know none of you'll miss me if I don't survive the test.
You've got to stop him.
Well, if he gets a mouthful of something nasty, it'll take him down a peg or two.
Don't worry, we'll give him a second or so, and then we'll go and get him.
Well, you can't say Mr. Brown isn't brave, can you?
He's as reckless of his own life as he is of ours. After all, we don't know what danger may be lurking out there. All right, hold on, Brown. We'll get you back inside.
What? Take off that helmet, Henderson. Not in the least necessary.
You're all right.
Of course I'm all right. Now, careful, don't breathe in too deeply. Liable to make you giddy at first. The air here's so clean and fresh, it's overpowering.
Yes. You can breathe it all right. It's pure oxygen.
Well, not pure oxygen, Jeff. Otherwise you'd be flat on your back. It must be 20%, the same as on Earth. Hey! Well, maybe 25%.
Well, now perhaps you'll stop calling me a visionary, Henderson. Why, this place, beautiful. Just think, we're the first people from Earth ever to set foot on it.
The first people?
Yeah.
And what about Wilson?
Oh, yes, of course, Wilson.
Yes, that's what we came here for, Brown. You just remember that. We're going to find him and then get back into orbit. That's all.
Find him? In this jungle? Where do we start looking?
Well, altogether, that gives us a map of about 12 miles either side of us.
I can't see Captain Wilson's rocket anywhere.
Well, you wouldn't see ours from above. This forest is much too thick.
Then how are we going to find him?
Well, by a systematic search over the whole area.
Yes, but we don't even know which direction to start in.
Well, that's what the others are trying to work out. Anyway, we do know that if Wilson survived the impact of landing, his oxygen problems are over.
Jeff said Mr. Brown was brave going out like that without his helmet, but I'd call it stupid, wouldn't you?
Well, sometimes it's difficult to know the difference between bravery and stupidity. I guess the thing to do is to strike a balance between the two. That's what your uncle tries to do.
You're very fond of my uncle, aren't you?
Of course I am.
I can tell he likes you, too.
You got those photographs ready yet, Mary?
Yes, I'm just putting them together now.
Oh, good, thanks. Oh, no. Well, there's one thing we do know. We're exactly here. Now, the figures show that Wilson's rocket can't have landed further north than this, or south of this line. Allow an error of 5 degrees in the angle of fall. That gives us a square roughly this size.
Uncle, now we've finished the photographs. Can I look outside?
Oh, yes, of course. Oh, Jeff, you better go with her.
Oh, it's quite safe, isn't it?
Yes, just a precaution, Margaret. I don't think any of us should be alone on this planet.
Well, this is the swamp area, and the vegetation begins here. Of course, we've no guarantee that Wilson didn't come down in that swamp.
Well, if he'd been in control of his rocket, he'd have avoided it all right. Brown, did he seem to be well in control when you last spoke to him? Brown, didn't you hear what I said?
Well, I'm sorry. I was just looking at this mountain range here.
Oh, what about it?
Oh, I was wondering what lay beyond it.
You know, you're the type of person that's just never satisfied with his own side of the hill.
Mankind never has been, Professor Meadows. Otherwise, it'd have gone down centuries ago in the struggle for survival.
Isn't it eerie? It's so quiet.
I know, you've almost got the feeling that you're being watched.
You are! By a big monster!
Where? Oh, Hamlet. Margaret, don't you do that again. Well, Hamlet, you're on Venus. Put him down and see how he likes it.
All right, but we'll have to watch him. There you are, Hamlet. You'd better have some exercise.
You know, I've been thinking. If we can breathe on Venus, animals could live here, couldn't they?
Well, not necessarily. On Earth, there was vegetation for millions and millions of years before anything evolved to eat it.
Why do you always have to see something before you believe it's there?
That's a proper scientific approach.
Oh, you're just copying Professor Meadows. Only she knows what she's talking about.
Well, don't tell me you think Harpo Brown knows what he's talking about. And you listen to every word he says.
I'd like you two to take over watching the rocket now. Jeff, I've made out a routine report. See if he gets off to Buchan Island, would you?
Why do we have to wait behind? Can't we come with you?
No, not this trip, Jeff. I want you in there so that I can keep up radio contact. Otherwise, we'll all get lost.
There's also the possibility that Wilson might make for our rocket if he saw us come down on his radar.
Oh, come on, cheer up, Jeff. There's going to be time enough on this planet for us all to see what there is to see.
All right, come on, Margaret. Come on, Hamlet.
Oh, tell Brown we're waiting for him, will you?
All right.
Well, we'll make sure we keep him with us this time.
Well, personally, I've had enough of his company. But what else can we do?
Well, I'm not leaving him with the children. I want them to stay in the rocket. They shouldn't take any more risks than they have to.
Well, what do you expect to find?
I don't know. There's something menacing about this place. Don't you feel it too, Mary?
Buchan Island, this is MR4 calling from the surface of Venus. I have a report for you. Over. Now we'll have to wait 6 minutes to see if they're picking us up.
Yes, you'd like to be coming with us, wouldn't you, Jeff?
Well, Mr. Henderson said we've got 3 weeks here, so I suppose we can get some exploring done in that time.
In that time? That's a very relative statement, isn't it, Jeff?
What do you mean?
Oh, time's such a relative factor. For example, how long would you say we'd been on the surface of Venus?
Well, about an hour.
Yes, that's an hour, Earth time. As a matter of fact, I say we've been here less than 2 minutes.
Oh, but that's nonsense.
Venus time. How long is the Venusian day, Margaret?
About as long as 30 days on Earth, as far as we know.
Yes, because Venus spins on its axis 30 times slower than Earth.
Yes, but it doesn't affect us. I mean, we're Earth people.
Oh, no, we've now entered the Cytherean time cycle. We have now become Venus people.
But the rocket's clocks, they show us what time it is and how much time is passing.
Forget your clocks, Margaret. They don't mean a thing. They were made on Earth.
Well, so are we.
Yes, but we're not machines, Jeff. We're living human organisms. Our bodies will adapt themselves to the Venusian time cycle.
I see. So if there were people here, they could live longer.
Yes, very much longer. Matter of fact, I could expect, if I stayed here, another 600 years. And you two, 1,000 years each. I must go. They're waiting for me.
I can't make out head nor tail of what he was talking about.
Well, I only know he thinks he's going to be 600.
He'll soon find out it's wrong when he gets back to Earth.
Perhaps he doesn't intend to get back to Earth.
Oh, come on, Brown. Well, I'm going to try calling Wilson again. Hello, Wilson. Hello, Wilson. This is the British MR4 rescue party traveling Venus north by northeast to a point 12 miles from our landing. Over.
But he hasn't enough juice to answer us.
No, I know, but he may have just enough left to hear us. At least he'll know we're looking for him.
It's wonderful here. Why, this is just the way the primeval forests on Earth must have looked.
Well, you're suggesting that Venus is just a replica of the primitive development on Earth?
Yes, but this is only a part of Venus.
You mean it might be different, perhaps more advanced elsewhere?
I know it's different. This is just a reservation where they keep their wildlife.
Their wildlife?
I might remind you, we found nothing living since we've landed.
Oh, really? Oh, well, how do you account for this? I just picked it up. A skeleton.
A small mammal.
Yes, you see, we don't know what's around us, how dangerous. We don't know even if there's anything above us.
It's above us, right overhead.
But what is it?
Seems to be in orbit about 250 miles up.
Yes, that would be what about the carbon cloud? It could be that asteroid you saw on radar when we were in orbit.
Wait a minute, it seems to be losing height.
But if it's an asteroid, it must be on a fixed orbit.
Well, it isn't. It's losing speed as well as height. I better report it to the others. Hello, Mr. Henderson. Jeff here. Are you receiving me? Over.
Yes, I can hear you, Jeff. Come in. Over.
We've just picked something up on radar in orbit around Venus, but it's just broken orbit and seems to be coming in. Over.
Well, it must be a meteorite. Over.
No, it's too slow. Over.
Oh, well, keep tracking it on radar, Jeff. I expect you'll find it is a meteorite. Now, clear the air now. I want to keep calling Wilson. Over and out.
Well, he didn't seem to think it was very important.
Well, I did. The way that thing was behaving, it was almost as though it was controlled.
How high is it now?
I would say it's just about entering the carbon cloud.
Oxygen canister's now empty. Air in this cabin almost used up. MR4's bleep still loud and clear. The only oxygen for 10 million miles is in that ship. I'm going to try and land near MR4. I can use their bleeps as a guide. Lateral boost now. Have left orbit. Straight on the beam. Must be in the cloud. Altitude 100, 95, 90. Speed 3,000. Must reduce speed. Can't recall.
heading straight for us.
It's going to crash right on the surface of Venus.
Should have started to burn up by now. It's funny, the speed's dropped tremendously. It's decelerating.
But if it's decelerating, then it must be controlled by something.
I'm going to get Mr. Henderson again. Hello, Jeff here. This is urgent. Are you receiving me? Over.
Hearing you, Jeff. Come in. Over.
That thing on the radar I told you about. Well, it's coming down, but it's deliberately slowing up. I think it's a rocket. Over.
Oh, Jeff, it must be your imagination. Check your radar circuit. There must be a fault. Now, look, don't waste your batteries unless it's something really urgent. I'll call you again in 15 minutes. Over and out.
They just don't believe us.
It's gone now. It's gone right off the screen. Jeff, do you think it could be Captain Wilson's rocket?
Of course not. He landed before us.
Yes, that was the message Mr. Brown took.
Let's start plotting where this thing came down. I would say it must have landed about 3/4 of a mile from here.
Oh, as close as that.
This is where I reckon it is. Almost as though it had been trying to find us.
In that sort of open patch.
Yes, see, we're here, then there's a strip of open ground between the jungle and the swamp.
And then there's a patch that looks like darkest Africa.
Yes, but it's not very big. Can't be more than 100 yards wide. Why don't we go and see for ourselves?
Oh, but we mustn't. We were ordered not to leave the rocket.
It won't take long.
Well, who's going to answer the radio if they call?
Or I can take the other portable set with me. I only want to prove that we're right.
The thing did behave like a rocket. All right, I will come with you. We mustn't stay away too long.
Look out, Mary!
What sent that down?
It's a piece of rotten branch. It's funny there's no wind that could have brought it down.
Well, just a minute. This wood isn't rotten. Look, the sap's still oozing from it.
Yes, you're right. It must have been broken off by something up there. But what?
I don't know.
I keep telling you there's life here. Yes, and I think for once you're right, Brown. I'm going to call Jeff. Tell him to make quite sure that all the hatches in the rocket are properly closed. Hello, MR4. Hello, Jeff. Henderson calling. Over. Hello, MR4. Hello, Jeff. Over. They're not answering.
Is this the right direction, Jeff?
Yes, straight on.
I nearly trod on it.
Come on, I'll go first. It's the B-7, Captain Wilson's rocket.
But how can it be?
The hatch is open. Let's look inside. Yes, the equipment. It's all American.
Yeah, look. There's a signal pad. It's all torn up.
And look at this, and this, and this. This damage couldn't have been done by a crash landing. The rocket's been ransacked by some creature.
Yes, by something terribly strong.